Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome in, race fans. It's Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, along with Billy Doc Niles, Paul the Penguin Reichert. I'm Radio Man Dan Dyker, shooting the show today. Little wet, a little cold, but when they unveil the statue here at the Dick Trickle Memorial, it is going to be awfully warm.
It's I'm surprised by the turnout. Usually, when the weather attacks an event, the crowd whittles down, but it is amazing the amount of people we got here, and just a little bit, we're going to unveil that really cool statue. Tom and Marv are going to talk about it later in the show here, and I'm looking forward to this day.
Being brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue and Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. I think we're getting a little bit of Carey both today. We've got the air conditioning out here. Now we could use a little bit more heat. Paul, you and I have been up here for several hours today before a lot of people started showing up. We've got a good look at everything that's evolved up here, and it's really surprising that that this is here.
Yeah, to be here for the first time to see the Trickle Memorial before they unveil the statue, it's just been just unbelievable to be here and to check it out and to see all the 6 cars that are here as they were rolling out and being put under the tents here. It's just a great day here.
Paul and I even put in some legwork helping push one of the old Dick Trickle. In fact, the one behind us. The replica behind us here. And again, you look around, you got the 6 cars here. You've got so many different drivers here. The coolest thing I've seen so far, and they have not unveiled the statue yet. Rich Bickle is here, and Billy Doc Niles, you and I got to chat with him. He'll be on the radio show this week, as a matter of fact. He climbed in, and I hope Jesse can pan over your left shoulder both of those Super America 99s, which was really cool.
There. He was in both of those cars, and Bickle runs about like you, Dyker, somewhere around 6'7", 6'8". So
yeah.
Imagine that giant frame getting in something a 5'10" guy used to race in. And it was amazing, and then we got to talk to him afterwards with another. We didn't tape it, but it would have been a really good edited interview.
Oh yeah, and I do have to thank Rick for editing down the show from Rich Bickle at Madison, and we're going to try to do the same thing when we have him on to talk about the book coming up this week. That's just one of the many dignitaries that's here today. Of course, Rich and Dick rubbed fenders for many years, and.
Yep.
Even though Rich can be crass, Rich is original. Rich will not lie or fabricate a story. He's going to tell it how it is. Some of the honest and heartfelt words he's given to Dick Trickle have been just simply outstanding.
Yeah, he's Rich Bickle's one of the last of the straight shooters you're ever going to find when it comes to local racing. And if you check out the Dick Trickle Memorial, Rich has a really good story on one of the plaques about how Dick would keep giving him advice, and Rich came up to him one time at a track and asked for more advice, and Dick said to him, "Kid, you're getting faster and you're starting to beat me. You've already passed the Dick Trickle School of Racing." So
You're going to hear.
I thought that was pretty impressive.
As we were prepping for the show, Marv Marzofka kind of gave us a little insight as to running with Dick, and matter of fact, running his cars. We're gonna
get that out of him later in the show here.
Talk
today.
about that here in a little bit. You know, it's really neat. The biggest thing you hear up here, of course, we hear a lot of racing stories at Oktoberfest every year. I mean, you get into a big gathering with a couple thousand people. That's all they do is they talk racing stories. Some of these that you and I and Paul have been overhearing today, and we're going back to the 50s and 60s, and the memories are so vivid.
I mean, I've got memories going back to the 70s with my racing experience, but hearing these stories from back in the day, my dad knew Dick and Tom and all the guys, even the local guys that raced the lacrosse. Hearing those stories from back in the 60s, that makes me think, wow, wish I had been back then.
Dyker, you and I were talking yesterday, and the thing about Dick is Dick helped everybody, and it didn't matter who you were, and whether you were racing side by side for the lead with him, or he was passing you and lapping you. You go to Dick for advice, you go to Dick for parts, and Dick is going to help you out. And that was just the kind of guy he was. My dad has a door up in our shop. It's painted black with a number 2 on it, but if you peeled away all that black and stuff, that's an original Dick Trickle door right there. Dick actually, sold a body to my dad at a very good price. for the Minnesota State Fair one year and said, "Here, take this and put it on your car, rivet it on just the way it is, and you're going to be fine." So that's just the kind of, Dick would give my dad like one race old tires to use because my dad was on a shoestring budget way back then, and that's just the kind of guy he was. He would give you whatever knowledge or whatever parts he could afford to get rid of to help you race, because in Dick's mind, he knew that without, not just him, but people from 10th, 15th, 20th, or even in the B main, without them people there is no show. So he knew how to take care of everybody.
See, the only way Dick ever took care of me would have been probably 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago. 2 Sunday mornings at Oktoberfest, I had to set up his autograph table, so Dick and I would spend almost 2 hours together just on the track, sitting there at his autograph table waiting for the gates to open. And for 2 years in a row, I actually brought Dick a cup of coffee down. I ran down to the pit shack and brought some of that mud back there. And both years that night, Dick had found me in the campgrounds and said, "Hey, I really appreciate that cup of coffee. Here's a PBR." The next year I got a Miller High Life. Still got both the cans sitting up on a shelf at home. The PBR one's autographed.
Did you go total fanboy and get him to autograph them?
Well, no, he actually on the PBR, he said, "Now, Dan, I know you want me to do the PBR. You're a PBR guy." So, well, yeah.
Nice.
The High Life one we just kind of forgot about, but still have both of those. But even the younger generation in the pits at the Lacrosse Speedway during Fest, he's like a John Scott. He's like a Johnny Gilbertson. I mean, he will walk around and talk to everybody, and you always see his hand on someone's shoulder saying, "Well, I used to do this, and I always used to set it up like this." He didn't care who you were, and we've seen it enough at the Lacrosse Speedway during Oktoberfest. It was everybody he was talking to.
I'm sorry, I got caught up watching over here. But yeah, he would help. Like I said just earlier, he would help anybody. He'd take a look at your setup and say, "Okay, here's what I used to do. Here's what I think you should do. Maybe you should change this. Maybe you should try this." He was not above trying stuff to make his car faster, whether it's some front end geometry, something with the tires. I remember going to a shop with my dad one night, watching him. He was so meticulous about the weight. I mean, he wanted it right down to the exact pound. And sit there, and I watched him for an hour screw around, just getting to move 2 and 3 pounds around to get them where they wanted. That's how meticulous he was, and I know that's what he wanted people to know, that this is how I would do it, and I think you should do it this way.
Real quick before we bring in Tom Reffner, the best story that the three of us have. I don't think Paul was with us with the radio program when we had Dick Trickle and everybody up in the tower 7-8 years ago for Oktoberfest. Is my show was done at 1 o'clock.
It was just like Dick in the old days, showing up at the last minute.
My show was done at 1, and we had network news at the top, and I totally wiped it out and actually went an extra half an hour because I'm the one that went on the air and off the air. Dick finally shows up to the interview after being a half an hour late and says, "Sorry, guys, I was trying to take my golf cart up the backside of the quarter mile at the Lacrosse Speedway where the old Winston sign is, and almost rolled the golf cart."
He
So
almost rolled it. It was amazing.
that's the best we have. When we come back, it's going to be Tom Reffner, Marv Marzofka, and a lot more from the Dick Trickle Memorial celebration here in Rudolph, Wisconsin on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, and Big Boar Food Truck is back in biz. Yes, the Northside Food Truck at George and Gillette Street is back in business. Stop by for lunch or dinner, enjoy our pulled pork, chopped brisket, fresh cut fries, sweet potato fries, cheese curds, and our own baked beans and coleslaw. Watch for ribs and chicken on select days. Big Boar is back at George and Gillette, and still a delicious mouthful.
Yeah.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Building a Higher Standard Award winner. Call Carey today for your free estimate.
Welcome back. Several Rose Racing, KQEG TV, the entire show in Rudolph, Wisconsin this week. This is the home site of the Dick Trickle Memorial celebration and the unveiling of the statue, and we have not unveiled the statue yet. That's going to be happening here in a little bit, but we wanted to get a couple of interviews in with you. And one of them has been a great friend of the radio and TV program here the past 7 or 8 years. And, of course, this celebration is in honor of Dick Trickle today, but one of those that knows very well what it's all about is Tom Reffner. Tom, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. If the weather would be a little better, I'd be really, really happy.
I would have taken 55 and sunny today. Just get rid of the rain.
Yeah, I know.
55 would have been fine right now.
Well, we're doing pretty good. I mean, we got a lot of people here, and everybody's kind of out of the rain, but we still a little cold here.
Just a tad bit, of course. Goldie is our set behind here. Matter of fact, 5 Trickle cars and a Johnny Bogan Begeman cars here as well. You know, this has been a long process to start from the groundbreaking to where we are today. Have you had a chance to sit back and get a deep breath of air yet?
Not really. We put up tents yesterday, and this morning the guys had to put them all up again, and one of them we just didn't do because the ground is just so soft with the rain and everything. But when we got to see that trophy or that statue, when they rolled that baby up off of it, they had a big ramp in Milwaukee, and we were in a little bitty alley where we had to load that thing, and it was just a great job. That the sculptor is here today, Mike Martino.
Good.
He was getting interviewed by the TV set from the local public television, and he just did a wonderful job. Between him and the Queoffs down in Milwaukee, everybody here is going to really be happy when they see the statue.
You know, speaking of the statue, we talked with Don Lee Stuke last week on the radio show, and for the people out in TV land, kind of give them an idea of what it was like to get it to here and get it to where it's sitting right now.
Well, it was. We had some really strong guys down there at Milwaukee that helped us get it up in the crate that we had it in, and then drove it up here and put it in my shed, and then we had the Rudolph Fire Department set it for us. Mike Martino came up, the sculptor, and we took the ladder truck, so we didn't have to drive on the porous pave. And they picked that thing up like it wasn't nothing there. I think it's like 250 or something, or close to 275 for pounds in it. They did just a great job. We were so happy that they did that for us, and proud of our fire department here.
You know, just a side note, Trickle never weighed that much.
No, he didn't. No.
You know, as you look around, Tom, I mean, you've been shaking hands since 9 o'clock this morning and the tents and getting everything else put together just to kind of stand back and watch the unveiling of the statue says one thing, but the entire staff you've had working up here tirelessly to get this where it is today, the list just goes on and on.
I know, and we're so proud of the guys that helped us. I'm scared to start naming guys because I'm sure I'll forget. We had so many people help. It's just been so great that all the help we've got and all the people that donated money and time and stuff, we're just so grateful to everybody.
You know, I saw your financial sheet on Facebook last month, and I saw my name on there, and I had immediate goosebumps. You know, I really have to give you guys a lot of credit. I was one of those that bid on and won the, I think it was the Gatorade plaque from Dick Trickle from back in the 80s. What a job you guys have done, and the money people have spent on these trophies and plaques and pieces of memorabilia over the past year.
Yeah, and we're so happy. I think Vicki is here somewhere. I haven't seen her, but Dick's daughter, I'm pretty sure she's here. His sisters are here, and I don't know where Vicki is yet, but I thought she was going to be here, and I think she is.
Was that her idea?
Marvin's saying she is. So
was that her idea to donate the plaques and trophies?
I'm not sure how that happened, but her and her mother, Darlene, all of a sudden, Marv, you maybe know?
Hang on, we're going to get over here by Marv.
Yeah, Marv Marzofka. He's going to be on the show here next.
Okay. Yeah, Vicky gave me a call and says we're cleaning out Dick's shop. You know, he had all the trophies from his shop, and he says, "Would you guys want to do something with them?" And we sure would. You know, the people would love to see them. You know, and brought it back here, talked it over with the guys, and they said we're gonna send you up 2 pallets of trophies.
44.
You know, wow. Beautiful things, and they're gonna send them up, and we're gonna sell them.
Yeah, it was.
And for money for the porous pave and for what we had to finish up on there. So it was Vicky and her husband that actually got the thing rolling and sent us the trophies, and they're finding some good homes now.
Yes, they are. The auctions have been just phenomenal on Facebook.
I think one of the most popular ones was one of the final trophies given out at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. It was a huge trophy with a big cup on top of it that had Dick's name on there, and I know that was one of their highest bidders. But yeah, a lot of people have been giving the financials out to make it where it is today. Got about a minute left in the program. I know you've probably got about 4 or 5 big thank yous you'd like to send out for having this day.
Well, for sure, the Dick Trickle family, that took such a terrible worry of not being able to get this done when we wanted to get it done, and they just took the load off of us. So we're so happy and grateful to Vicky and Darlene, and Darlene rest in peace.
And that them trophies are going to actual fans, you know, big fans of Dick Trickle. So you know, it's not just going to some, you know, scrub collector. It's going to people who really enjoyed Dick Trickle's career and enjoyed watching him.
People that love Dick, yeah.
Correct, yes.
Well, that's Tom Reffner, legend in his own right. He's got some other things to do before we...
You didn't introduce him properly. It's legendary Hall of Famer, the Blue Knight.
This is right. This is right.
Or Tom Reffner. God, no,
we're going
to
continue with... Wow. When we come back, we're going to continue the historical day we have here today as his teammate and Dick's teammate, Marv Marzofka, is going to be joining us on Seven Rivers Racing here in Rudolph, Wisconsin.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Are you ready for the Ultimate Platter Challenge? Jerry here at Big Boar Barbecue. Our Ultimate Platter is loaded with pork, brisket, chicken, ribs, 3 sides, and 4 slices of bread. If you can eat it all, it's yours free. I'll even give you a certificate for another one you can share with your friends. So how about it? You ready to take the challenge? Stop by, check out the rules, and dig in. And oh yeah, that's a mouthful.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Building a Higher Standard Award winner. Call Carey today for your free estimate.
Welcome back one more time to Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. Paul Reichert, he's holding the umbrellas. Billy Doc Niles and myself, Radio Man Dan Diker, here at Rudolph, Wisconsin. In just a little bit, they're going to be unveiling the Dick Trickle Memorial statue as part of this beautiful, beautiful place we've had. Doesn't matter, Marv Marzofka, if it's raining or windy or cloudy. Once 2 o'clock rolls around, that statue's unveiled. It's going to be very, very warm.
We're going to do it.
Marv Marzofka, of course, a legendary race car driver in himself. Man, I'll tell you what, I do have to give kudos that for the past 2 or 3 weeks, as you guys have been constructing this Dick Trickle Memorial, you were providing the lunch, I understand.
Well, just a few times, and all the guys are living, too. So.
You know, as we asked Tom Reffner, it really got to make you feel good to kind of stand back. Of course, the big showing hasn't happened until 2, but just to see what's happening so far today has all come to fruition.
People, you wouldn't believe it, the way it's raining in the rotten weather. There's so many people here. I'm very happy with the see some of my old friends from way back. Drove a long ways to get here.
I walked through
to see it.
I walked through the parking lot before we did the taping here. I saw license plates from Nebraska, California, North Carolina, Missouri, obviously Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois.
A few from Wisconsin.
Yeah, and a couple from Wisconsin. They're coming from all over for this this unveiling, and it's a heck of a testament to the job you guys have done here.
So some people say, why didn't we postpone it on account of this rain? We can't, not with people coming from Vegas and
Oh yeah, the family from Vegas
everywhere
too. Yeah.
around, and we're going to do it. So.
As I asked Tom as well, 6 years ago, I mean, this was a sketch on a piece of paper. I remember having conversations with you guys at Oktoberfest that, one of these days we're going to really do something for Dick and Rudolph. Here it is 6 years later. Did it feel like it was a long process or just a long, slow, drawn-out process?
Well, it started out quite slow and quite small. It started out, we went to the monument company and we wanted stone bust of Dick, and we couldn't find one that didn't look like a cemetery stone. It had to be something different than that. And then Dick Manstead, one of our guys, got into it, and he says, "Well, you should have a bronze one."
Right.
And it took off from there. And then we had the CTI draw us up a thing, and we had the start of it. The wheel, and it was going to be in the center of the wheel. But it took off from there, and they drew us up what it is right now.
And
we had to go with it. So
I'm sure Jesse will probably be walking through showing some pictures of this. If you haven't had a chance to get up here and check this out. I mean, the statue is going to be shown here in just a little bit, but the pictures and the stories and the monument, which is way back in our background here, it's just phenomenal. Some of the dignitaries of racing that have sent their stories in about Dick.
It's very nice, and so much help with it. Whenever we needed something, we'd ask, and we've never been turned down, right. And people were willing to help and donate and have their name in the granite there or pictures.
One thing I was going to ask Tom, and I was going to ask a while ago, if you look at the thousands of names of people that have donated and have sent cards and that are going to be here today, does it really make you kind of open your eyes? I mean, everyone knows Dick Trickle was such a worldwide phenom when he raced, even the younger days and the older days. Just how many fans he had out there.
He had all the fans from around here. Dick didn't have no enemies; they were all fans.
Right.
And then from here, he went, Milwaukee and out of state, and then he went running NASCAR, and he gained more fans. The ball kept rolling bigger. So.
It didn't matter how bad he did. He got his own spot on SportsCenter every Sunday night.
Yeah.
And probably one of the most famous videos out there of the cigarette in the cockpit.
He said, if they liked me or hated me, he says there were always a voice.
I've been watching Terry Burnham's videos the past week or two on the construction that's been going on here. The ceremony happens today and then it goes away. How much do you think you'll be popping up here by yourself or with the family every now and then just to kind of sit back and reflect?
Well, I own a farm just over the hill from here. I'm here every day.
Yeah. Gee, I got to drive by that Trickle thing again?
No, I don't look at it that way. I look what we created.
Yeah.
Marv, this is one I'm thinking, I don't think we've ever asked you is, all the years you've gone up and down the road, different racetracks with Dick, give us one or two of your favorite memories of Dick, and either racing or outside the track.
Well, outside the track, we did a lot of hunting and fishing together. Played ball together. Boy Scouts, we were together. That was outside of the track. And at the track, I raced for Dick. Before Dick could race, he was too young to race. I drove his race car.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, we got together. I drove some of his cars, and for years we raced together, one car on the truck and one on the trailer, and we went racing. So
When did you become competitors? I mean, that had to be awfully strange, driving his cars till he was old enough, but then all of a sudden now you're a competitor.
well, I could tell you a little story about that. He was driving a good car. He was driving for Moose Peterson, and I was driving his car because it was a good job driving for Moose. So what happened, we kept working, him and I kept working on this car. Pretty soon, I was going faster than he was. And we were on our way home one night, and he says, you know, Marv, you're making more money than me. He says, something's got to change here. So we switched, and I drove for Moose Peterson. Then I drove the Chevy, and he went back in his own Ford, but we still rode to the races together.
You drove for Moose for a long time, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Off and on, probably 5 years. And then he sponsored my car, and he was awful good to me.
Well, Marv Marzofka, of course, with you and Tom, we've said this many times over the past 7 or 8 years here, having you on the program. We can make an hour show just out of this as it is. So we greatly appreciate you inviting us up here, and I'm going to be doing some mic work for you guys. And no other place we would have rather been today than here. We greatly appreciate it.
So glad you guys could come and do this. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Seven Rivers Racing. Watch for an expanded TV show of the entire episode that's going to be happening here behind us today, here in the next couple of weeks. I want to thank Jesse and Rick Wilson for helping us out. Paul's over there, and Billy's right there, Marv Marzofka and Tom Reffner. I'm Dan Dyker. We'll see you next week on Seven Rivers Racing.
You've been watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, and Big Boar Food Truck is back in biz. Yes, the Northside Food Truck at George and Gillette Street is back in business. Stop by for lunch or dinner, enjoy our pulled pork, chopped brisket, fresh cut fries, sweet potato fries, cheese curds, and our own baked beans and coleslaw. Watch for ribs and chicken on select days. Big Boar is back at George and Gillette, and still a delicious mouthful.
Yeah.